All right, boys, we are back for the 2026 season, our fourth season of the Guillotine Greatness. We're under a month out from the draft and from the season starting, so it's about that time to go over some new amendments to the rules. Not as many as in previous years. I think we've covered a lot of like the needed amendments to make the league more fun, more fair, whatever. But a couple. Most of them, I will say, are not going to be on votes. I'm just doing it. I should say we're just doing it. Ryan and I agreed. If we think something is better for the league, we don't need to put it to a vote. But all right, let's get into it. And first off, gotta recall last season. I might do a little bit between now and the start of the draft or start of the season on recapping in more detail last year. But at the very least, this was the order from last year. Jack took home the crown. Walker got the second place runner-up silver. Fleming got third. Max fourth. Interesting to note, Walker and Max were our two newcomers last year when we expanded the league from 18 to 20 teams, and they both made the top four. So that is pretty impressive. And other than that, I mean, personally, I haven't had two of the three seasons I've gotten 13th. So I'm not doing too great. I think another to call out, Philip. I think Philip's kind of struggled. He's kind of like me, but except he got like last one year, close to last year, and then he had one good season. Yeah, and another one I'd call out, Jake. He's kind of under the radar, been in like the top, 8 at least every year, which is, I think he's the only person to be in the top 6 or 8 every year. So as much as we flame him for his trading tactics, he gets it done. All right, enough on last year. Congrats, Jack, on the dub. He technically won year one as well, although he did not buy in. So he did not win the buy-in, or he didn't win the pot. JC won the pot, getting second, but Jack has won the league 2 of the 3 years, so what a beast. All right, let's remember the amendments we made last year. We got rid of the gulag. That was just kind of a mess, headache. For me, at least, it was a headache. I know it might have extended the fun for a little bit, but whatever. We expanded the league from 18 to 20 teams. As I mentioned, added Max and Walker, and we added 2 double elimination weeks. Yeah, that reminds me, I didn't have a slide for this one point I'm going to make, but Ryan and I agree we should have a more formal process for submitting complaints. We want to keep this league active and fun, and if any of you believe anyone else in this league is either extremely inactive, doesn't respond to trades, or is just an awful person, which I don't think anyone's an awful person, we want you guys to like voice that to me and Ryan, and we will consider in future years if there is enough, strikes on certain people, we would consider booting them from the league. It sounds extreme, but I want this league to be really active and really fun, so that is a measure we will consider in future years. So submit your complaints to me and Ryan if you have any serious ones about any players. But yeah, back to this. Last year we also increased the buy-in to $30. We're going to keep it there. We also added the weekly payout for the each high scorer each week at $6 per week. We're keeping that as well. Non-negotiables. Ryan and I are just putting our foot down on these. We are moving the fab budget from 100 to 1,000. I considered doing this last year, and I wish I did. I think it's better all around. It doesn't actually change the value of fab at all. It's just 10x what we're used to spending. So if you're going to bid $10 on someone, it's just bidding $100 is the exact same thing. This allows for less ties and free agency bidding because it's more specific. And it also allows for more granular amounts in trades. And I think this will increase the number of trades that can get done, because in the past you can only move it by an increment of 1 fab, which is now 10 fab. So you can get really granular, 5 fab, and whatever. I think we will come to more deals because you can be really specific with fab, which I like that. So we are doing that, moving to 1,000. The next thing in regards to fab and trading, I wanted to find a way to make fab trading more fair, and we want less instances of desperation trades where someone takes advantage of a desperate player and ends up getting a ton of fab or a really good player. I mean, you can't really stop getting the good player. We're only implementing fab caps. But also, these fab caps in trades would, in a way, disincentivize fab hoarding. Because if you own, let's say, a crazy 50% of the fab remaining, you won't be able to trade an ungodly amount during the week at least. Like, let's say someone with a ton of fab is now insanely desperate on Saturday or on Sunday, Monday. They now can't just dump that all to another team for a player, essentially like a get out of jail free. You would not be able to do that because there will be caps during the week. So ultimately, I don't think this is that extreme of a measure. During like the off week, between weeks, after Monday Night Football and before Thursday Night Football kicks off, there is no fab cap. You can trade as much fab as you want. But during the week, start of Thursday Night Football, there will be a cap of you cannot trade more than the league average in fab. And then on Sunday, once the first game starts, which is either 1 p.m. or 9 a.m.-ish when there's an international game, the new cap between Sunday and the end of game Monday night is only half of the league average in fab can be traded. Ultimately, as I'll get into, I'll show examples from last year on how this impacts trades. It would not have impacted many trades last year. There's only a handful. But these caps are just in place so that we're not trading ungodly amounts of fab during the week. I think that covers it. And on Thursday night, at the start of Thursday Night Football, and the start of Sunday football in the morning, early afternoon, I will send out what these caps are in the chat. So last year, how this would have looked. We have column 1 is the league average in fab, so the cap that would be in place between Thursday and Sunday, and then the half of the league average in fab is what the cap would be between Sunday and Monday. I looked through all of the trades last year, and I only found 2. Maybe I could have missed one here or there, because almost every big trade happened between Tuesday and Thursday. So not as many like colossal blockbuster trades happening during the week, but there were a couple people being desperate. One of them was me, and I'll hit that one first. Week 7, actually the 2 examples I have are from week 7. I was desperate, and I traded, was it Cooper, I believe? I got Amon-Ra from him. I gave him some players and 32 fab after Sunday had started. So this would have been the cap, 2130, or in this year's terms, 213 fab. Another reason why the adding it and bumping it to 1,000 will be good is for these like decimal numbers. The caps will actually be very accurate. Whereas if we stayed at this, then the cap would technically be you can't trade more than 21. But now we get to be specific, so that's good. So yeah, I gave him 32 fab in the middle of the week, in the middle of the games on Sunday. So that would not have been allowed. I could not give that much fab. And then Ben and Jack made a trade after Thursday Night Football in Week 7, where it was actually they ended up doing this trade back, funny enough. But Ben got 53 fab for Gibbs. 53, this would have been the cap at that time, 42.6, and that would not have been allowed at that point. But if it was done before the game on Thursday, then it would have been allowed. So it's all about timing. If you want to do big trades, do them before the week starts. I think that's a fair way to put a cap on this. I think, like I said, the biggest one is a team that is hoarding fab cannot just have like a get-out-of-jail-free card during the week if they're desperate. They can't just dump it all at someone, because also then that'll not be fair to the rest of the league, because then all that fab goes to another team. Blah, blah, blah. I think this balances it ever so slightly. I could even get more aggressive. I don't even think, like, these caps right here between Thursday and Sunday are barely impact anything. Like I said, that Gibbs trade was the only one, I think, that I found. Okay, enough of that. I just wanted to have a full explanation of the rule and why. And, yeah. Then the only one we're going to be voting on for the 4th time or 3rd time, whatever it is, tight end premium. We've gotten close to passing this one in the past. I think we were pretty much a 50-50 split last year, so I want to keep it open. I am still in favor of doing it. Literally the only reason I'm in favor of not doing it is just to keep consistency in scoring for like historical records, like to, compare apples to apples in terms of weekly high scores and team scoring on the year. But whatever. It happened in the NFL when they bumped it to 17 games instead of 16, and we saw, obviously, the records have an asterisk. It's like, oh, the quarterback touchdown passes on a year is like this with an extra game, so it's not the same thing. Whatever. If it's for the better of the league, I'll do it. And I think tight ends are boring and mostly don't score a lot unless you're like Brock Bowers, McBride. So everything else would stay half PPR. Tight ends move to PPR. I think tight ends makes them more fun, makes them more usable, especially early in the year. Kind of these mid-tier, low-tier tight ends are very flex-worthy if they're full PPR. And that's pretty much it. So we'll put that one to a vote in the chat. And lastly, we got the draft and a couple things to vote on for the draft. Currently, it is scheduled for Saturday of Labor Day weekend on September 5th at 8 p.m. We have a small group showing up to the beach for the party. If anyone is still on the fence, obviously feel free to let me know if you're going to make it. We're going anyway, so anyone is welcome to come if you can make it. I'll try to give a better... We might do this next year as well, so I'll try to give more of a heads up next year so we can plan better and get a bigger turnout. I think it'd be really fun to all be together for the draft. Or at least most of us be together for the draft and hang out, being at the beach, do whatever. Thing to note on the date and time of the draft, Ben is going to be out of the country, he has informed me, from the 4th through like the start of the season. So we either have to do the draft before the 4th, which I really don't want to do because we have to do it this weekend for the people that are going to be there. I don't want to do it before the weekend where we're all getting together. So the date is kind of not changeable. I believe he's going to be 6 hours ahead, so 8 p.m. for him is 2 a.m. We're going to... I will poll the group to see if anyone is open to the idea of like a midday, early evening draft, like probably at the latest starting at like 5 p.m. I think ideally he wanted more like 2, 3, 4 p.m. Could even do noon. I will put that up to a vote. Unfortunately, Ben, I will be at the will of what everyone says. I personally obviously would also rather not do it earlier in the day, but I will do it if everyone is okay with it, so that you can be there for the draft / not have to be up at 2 a.m. doing the draft. But hey, you got to make sacrifices for this league. You chose to schedule a vacation on the most important time of the year for fantasy football, like the week before the season starts. But I guess we are doing the draft a little late. But we like to do that for Guillotine, so injuries don't play a big role. Don't want to draft people and then people get injured. Okay, so I'll put that up for a vote. And in terms of draft order randomization, TBD, I have a couple ideas, but no matter what we do, I'm going to lock it in by next weekend, which is 2 weeks before the draft. Some ideas I have for randomization. I want to do one of these 3, so I'll put it to a vote. I can have my 2-year-old pick pictures of our faces, and that will determine the order. And I think, for fairness, I would make my picture something else, and maybe my brother David, he knows him, change those pictures so he's not obviously picking people he knows. I think that'd be a fun way to randomize it. If you guys saw Austin Eckler posted like a little TikTok, Instagram reel, whatever, about saying like, hey, drop me your league names and I'll randomize your draft order. So you could have him do it. And I've seen some other people, smaller celebs, influencers, you could say, that do this. So I think that could be a fun way to randomize it. Or lastly, probably the easiest option is the Spotify playlist shuffle, which is where each one of you sends a song, and I put all 20 songs into a Spotify playlist, and I shuffle it, and I would record myself shuffling it, and that would be the draft order, is the order that your song gets played. Yeah, that is it. Man, I rambled. This is over 13 minutes, sorry. But I'm excited for this year's draft. Please respond to all the polls in the chat, and looking forward to another awesome year of some Guillotine fantasy football. Peace out, guys.